Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered where that vibrant spark in your eyes went? The one that used to light up a room, laugh a little louder, dream a little bigger. It's a quiet kind of loss, not painful exactly, just hollow. A sense of becoming invisible, not just to others, but to yourself. I'm Dr. Henry Caldwell. I've spent over 3 decades walking beside older adults, not just treating their symptoms, but truly listening to their stories. And I want to tell you something that may shake you awake. That spark isn't gone. It's simply sleeping, and you have the power to bring it back. Today, I want to show you one simple, science-backed step that can reignite your energy, warmth, and connection. It's not a miracle pill or a costly supplement. It's something you probably already have in your home, sitting quietly in the back of your pantry. But before I tell you what it is, I want you to sit with this. What if the best part of your life isn't behind you? What if it's waiting inside you, right now, quietly asking for a chance to breathe again? Let's begin at the root. Aging isn't just about silver hair or the deepening of laugh lines. It's about what happens within, a quiet slowdown that creeps into your circulation. Blood vessels stiffen, oxygen moves slower, warmth fades from your hands, energy becomes harder to summon. Even emotional closeness can feel like it's slipping through your fingers. I remember a patient, Mr. Harold, 69 years old. He walked into my office with hands like ice and a voice that trembled more from disconnection than age. He told me, "Doc, I don't feel alive anymore." That broke me a little, because I knew exactly what was happening. His blood wasn't flowing like it once did. His heart was beating, yes, but his life force, that full-body vitality, was fading like a light dimmed by poor circulation. This isn't rare. It's not a sign of failure or weakness. It's biology. It's aging, but it is not irreversible. And this is where elderly wisdom becomes our greatest ally. Because with age comes the power to pause, to reflect, and to choose differently. Our bodies are incredibly resilient. Even in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, your circulatory system can bounce back with the right care. And sometimes it only takes one gentle shift, not a massive overhaul, to make a noticeable difference. There's something else I want you to know. Restoring your energy isn't just about what flows through your veins. It's about what flows through your space, the home you live in, the routines you follow, the clarity of your surroundings. Clutter-free living isn't just a matter of aesthetics. It's a lifeline for peace of mind, especially in your later years. And when your home reflects order and calm, your body often follows suit. That's why I often recommend what I call internal and external flow. Better circulation inside your body, and better flow in your environment. It's part of a healthy, aging lifestyle, a whole self approach that honors both your physical vitality and your emotional safety. Before we move on to what's inside that little box in your kitchen, I want you to ask yourself, have you been feeling colder lately? Not just in your hands or feet, but inside your spirit. Has fatigue crept in, uninvited, and refused to leave? If your answer is yes, you're not alone, and you're not stuck. You're standing at a threshold. In the next part, I'll walk you through why blood flow is so much more than a heart issue. It's the very rhythm of your being. It shapes your memory, your mood, your warmth, your intimacy, and yes, your joy. So stay with me, because what's coming next could change how you see aging forever. When people think of the heart, they often picture it as a pump, just a tireless machine moving blood from here to there. But circulation is much more than mechanics. It is the silent rhythm of your life, the current that carries your warmth, memory, energy, and yes, even your ability to feel deeply connected to those you love. If blood stops flowing well, nothing else works quite right. Let me explain why. As we age, something happens beneath the surface. Our blood vessels, once flexible and responsive, begin to lose their elasticity. The inner lining of these vessels, known as the endothelium, starts producing less nitric oxide. That might sound like a science word you'd rather not deal with, but nitric oxide is crucial. It helps your vessels expand and relax, letting blood flow freely to every corner of your body. Without it, blood struggles to reach your fingers and toes. Your brain feels foggy. Your muscles feel tired, even after doing very little. That sense of distance in relationships is not all emotional. Sometimes it's physical. Your body just isn't sending enough oxygen to the places where joy lives. This is where I pause to talk about elderly wisdom, the kind of deep understanding that only comes from living long enough to see the patterns. Aging teaches us to look deeper, to sense when something is off. When we embrace that awareness, we gain power to change course. I had a patient once. Her name was June. She was 73, elegant, proud, and sharp. But she told me, "Dr. Caldwell, lately I can't finish my crossword. I forget words I've known for decades." She wasn't worried about dementia. She was worried about fading. And what I found was simple: poor blood flow to the brain. Her heart was fine, but her light was dimming because her circulation couldn't keep up. You see, your body is like a home. After 60, just like a house you've lived in for years, things don't work like they used to. But that doesn't mean you throw them out. You maintain them. You clear space. You listen to the creaks. You follow senior decluttering rules. Not just in your home, but in your habits. You don't need more. You need clarity, flow, simplicity. That's what circulation does. It restores clarity. It makes you feel alive, connected. You're not just a shell moving through your day. You're part of the living pulse of the world again. Now imagine if there was something simple, something natural that could support your body's ability to circulate again. Not a new drug, not an invasive treatment, but a gentle helper, one that works with your body, not against it. That's what we're about to talk about next, But before we do, I want to plant a seed. Clutter-free living isn't just about getting rid of objects. It's about removing what no longer serves your body or your soul. Whether it's emotional baggage, daily habits, or dietary choices that weigh you down, you deserve the freedom of lightness. Your energy is not gone. It's waiting. Circulation is the key. And in part 3, we'll talk about how one small household staple, something you've probably walked past 1,000 times, could play a big role in helping your body find its rhythm again. So stay with me, because this next part just might surprise you. Now let me tell you a story that still brings a smile to my face. A man named Louis, 70 years old, came to see me after his daughter gently nudged him. He wasn't ill in any dramatic way. He was just tired in his bones. He told me, "I'm not sick, Doc. I'm just not myself. My fire's gone out." And here's what I told Louis, what I'm about to tell you. Sometimes the body doesn't need a revolution. It needs a reminder. This is where something so ordinary, so overlooked, can make a powerful difference. Baking soda. Yes, that small box tucked behind your spices. The same powder you might use to freshen your fridge or bake your favorite bread. But inside that white powder is something extraordinary. As we age, our bodies tend to shift into a more acidic state. This doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's a natural result of stress, diet, medication, and declining kidney function. But acidity affects more than digestion. It constricts your blood vessels. It limits how well oxygen moves through your body. It dims the light in you. That's where elderly wisdom comes into play once again. You learn over time not to overlook the quiet things. You know that sometimes it's the smallest change that brings the greatest relief. A small, carefully measured Dose of sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, can help neutralize excess acidity, creating a more balanced internal environment. When your body's pH leans toward neutral, blood flows more freely. Nutrients travel better. Energy rises again, not in a jittery way, but in a warm, lasting way. Louis agreed to try a gentle routine I'd guided many patients through. Just 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda mixed into a tall glass of water, first thing in the morning and nothing else. He followed it patiently, with plenty of hydration and the watchful eye of a man learning to listen to his own body again. 3 weeks later, he came back glowing. His skin was warmer, his posture straighter. He said, ... I laughed again. I laughed like I used to. And that's when I knew, not just that it was working, but that he was remembering himself. Not as an old man, but as a living, breathing soul with purpose. That's the real gift of these small practices. They don't just extend life, they deepen it. Of course, this isn't magic. It's science. And it's not for everyone. We'll talk more about safety in part 4. But for now, let this idea settle in your heart. You don't need to chase trends or expensive pills to feel alive again. Sometimes, your healing begins in the pantry, in a simple glass of water and a choice to show up for yourself in the morning. While we often talk about home, organization after 60, and how streamlining your space brings peace, this is the same thing, but inside. A gentle decluttering of your body's chemistry. A quiet reminder that you still have choices, even now. So I ask you, what have you tried lately that brought you unexpected joy? What little shift helped you feel even a little more like yourself again? In the next part, I'll tell you why this simple trick can become dangerous when misused, and how to protect yourself while embracing the benefits. Because, with age, comes power, but also responsibility. Stay close. Your clarity is coming. Before you rush to your kitchen and scoop out that baking soda, we need to pause. Because here's the truth I never hide from my patients. Even nature's tools can turn dangerous when misused. There's a fine line between healing and harming. And when you're over 60, that line becomes even thinner. Our bodies change. What once felt harmless can now push us off balance. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a spirited 71-year-old woman who had always prided herself on doing her own research. She'd read a handful of internet tips and decided to double the baking soda dose just to speed things up, she said. Within a week, she was in my office, holding her stomach and looking pale. Bloating, dizziness, a blood pressure spike that frightened her. She hadn't done anything malicious. She was just eager to feel better. But baking soda, while natural, affects your body's pH, sodium levels, and hydration balance. Especially for those on medications, blood pressure pills, kidney treatments, or diuretics. This kind of shift can put unnecessary strain on your heart or kidneys. That's why elderly wisdom doesn't just teach us how to act, it teaches. Use when to be still, when to ask for guidance, when to treat our bodies like sacred vessels that deserve precision. It's tempting, isn't it? To believe that if a little is good, more must be better. But healing doesn't work like that. True healing, the kind that lasts, is patient, gentle, and deeply respectful of your body's pace. This is why I always emphasize this. If you're considering trying baking soda to support your circulation, you must do it right. And you must do it mindfully. It's not just about drinking a glass of water. It's about understanding what your body is already holding. Have you been hydrating well? Are your kidneys functioning normally? Are you taking medication that shifts your electrolytes? These things matter. I also encourage what I call declutter regret-free thinking, where you remove habits that don't serve your long-term wellness. That includes taking advice from unreliable sources or guessing your way through new routines. Wisdom lies in clarity, And clarity brings safety. Think of your health like your home. Would you start moving heavy furniture around without checking if the floor beneath it could handle the weight? Of course not. That's the same approach you need inside your body. Senior home safety doesn't just mean handrails and nightlights. It means protecting your inner systems too. So, if you're curious about trying baking soda, do these 3 things first. 1. Talk to your doctor, especially if you're managing blood pressure, heart, or kidney conditions. 2. Start slow. Never exceed 1/4 teaspoon in a full glass of water. 3. Listen to your body. Any signs of discomfort, stop and reassess. Healing should feel steady, not shocking. Eleanor learned this the hard way, but with the right adjustments, she came back stronger and wiser. That's what this journey is really about. Not quick fixes, but sustainable growth. In the next part, I'll guide you step by step through the safe way to incorporate this into your life. Because your health deserves not just effort, but excellence. You are not fragile, but you are precious. Let's treat you that way. If you've stayed with me this far, it means you're ready. Not just curious, ready. Ready to begin again, not with loud changes, but with quiet discipline. That's what true elderly wisdom is all about. So here it is, the safe, deliberate way to add baking soda to your day. For most healthy adults over 60, the starting point is simple. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, stirred into a full glass of room temperature water. Drink it first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach, before breakfast, before coffee, before anything else. Not at night, not after meals, not 2 or 3 times a day, just once. That's all you need. And then hydrate all day long. Your body is a river, not a pond. Water needs to move through it, carrying nutrients, flushing waste, and helping your blood flow like a gentle stream through a quiet forest. This habit is not just about baking soda, it's about restoring internal harmony. Think of this practice as a kind of home organization after 60, but within. It's a slow decluttering of built-up acidity, of sluggish circulation, of tired mornings that used to feel heavier than they should. One of my favorite stories comes from Miriam, 74. When we met, she was convinced her best days were behind her. "I've become background noise," she said. "The days had rhythm, yes, but no music." Together we started small. The water, the pinch of baking soda, the early morning stillness. She gave it 3 weeks. By the 4th, she walked into my office brighter, not just in her clothes or her tone, but in her eyes. "I danced with my granddaughter last night," she said. "I don't mean just swayed, I danced." It wasn't just the chemistry. It was the ritual, the act of choosing herself each morning before the world rushed in. This is why I always say, when you adopt small, intentional habits like mindful hydration, gentle movement, and yes, baking soda, you're not just boosting circulation. You're reawakening a relationship with your own life, a deeper connection, a healthy aging lifestyle that centers peace, presence, and joy. But remember, if you're on any medication, especially for blood pressure or kidneys, this routine isn't a decision to make on your own. Speak to your physician first. Let wisdom walk beside enthusiasm. Healing isn't one size fits all. But this can be a soft beginning, a note of hope, a spark of morning light in a quiet kitchen. And more than anything, it reminds you that you still matter, that your body, even now, still responds to kindness, attention, and love. In the final part, I'll bring it all together. We'll talk about what it really means to reclaim your vitality, your presence, your place in the world, not as someone forgotten, but as someone deeply valued. So take a breath. We're almost there. There's a moment I'll never forget. A woman named Clara, 76 years old, sat across from me, No diagnosis, no chart in hand. Just her voice, soft and trembling. "I used to walk into a room and feel seen," she said. "Now, I feel like wallpaper. That silence, it sits heavy. Not because she's alone, but because too many feel the same way. But you are not wallpaper. You are not background noise. You are the warm light in the hallway, the morning sun on your family's kitchen table, the memory in your children's laughter. You are still the center of something sacred. And more than anything, you are not done." This video, this message, this little glass of water and baking soda, it's not really about chemistry. It's about belonging. It's about clutter-free living, not just in your home, but in your heart. It's about stepping out from behind the veil of age and saying, "I am still here. I still matter." What we've walked through together, the science of circulation, the quiet power of baking soda, the careful steps to protect your health, they're tools. But the transformation? That comes from you. Every small habit you take on with intention, every time you drink that glass of water, every moment you resist the urge to give up, you are rewriting the story of what aging means. You are embodying elderly wisdom, not as something passive, but as a force, a flame, a presence that radiates through your family, your friendships, your home. You see, growing older isn't about downsizing your life. It's about editing it. Like the best writers, we remove what no longer belongs. Distractions, clutter, regret, and leave behind only the essential. That's what downsizing tips for seniors are really about. Not giving things up, but gaining space, gaining clarity, gaining time for what matters. And in that space, you rediscover joy, connection, love. You find yourself dancing again, holding hands again, laughing again, not as a version of who you used to be, but as someone wiser, more rooted, more fully alive. So here's my invitation to you. Start today. Take that glass of water. Add that gentle pinch of baking soda. Make the space in your morning not just for routine, but for reflection. Declutter your thoughts. Organize your choices. Choose presence over resignation. And then share this journey with a friend, with your children, with your community. Let your healing inspire others. Let your story remind someone else that their story isn't over either, because you, my friend, are not invisible. You are still glowing, and the world is better because you're still here. If this message spoke to your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on that little bell so we can keep growing together, and share this with someone you love. Let's light up the world, one morning at a time.